Well, if you're joining us and reading through the Bible story in 30 days, today's reading is 2 Kings 25, 1 through 30. And if you haven't read this passage, please pause the video now and read it. Well, the story of Jerusalem's capture is one that will sadden your heart, even as you read it. All the potential that was in Israel is now being carried off to Babylon because, frankly, they've broken God's law. 2 Chronicles 36, 20 through 21 states that the reason Judah was going through the captivity is that they had failed to maintain the Sabbath for all of the time in the land, and so therefore they would not be able to return to the land for 70 years. It's difficult to make a theological statement as to whether or not the United States will be judged on the basis of what we do or what we don't do. We are not a theocracy like Israel was. We do not have the direct revelation of God for us to be a country, to be separated as a country. And because of those two things, the similarities of our two countries are simply both that we're countries. But that does not mean that God is not going to judge our sin. Well, I believe the answer that God will judge our sin, but he may not judge it as a nation, but rather as individuals. Based on who's leading the country, if he or she is judged, that might cause our country to suffer, but it's frankly the judgment would be on that individual, and that secondary judgment would be on the country. We as a country need to take stock of what we believe in as a people. It doesn't take somebody very long to realize that the culture that we have has dramatically changed from the 1940s to ultimately today. We no longer think of the way that we did back then, particularly about God, morality, and community. We are much more selfish and self-seeking than we were 50 or 70 years ago. While we can't deny the past, and we certainly can't lift it up all the time as it was not perfect, we can take that which was good and still try and live that way. We need to have a revival here in the United States, but I believe that it would be impossible without Christians changing their mind about how they relate to society. We as believers have to be different. We have to love more, we have to serve more, we have to know more about Christ than we currently do. Revival and returning to morality is only going to occur when we as Christians repent and focus our energies on living as God would have us live.